Hey guys, Mr. Simmons here. Welcome to Student Built Home Orientation 2020-21, COVID style. This will be recorded and sent out with a copy of the orientation paperwork and the syllabus. So let's go over all of that. Okay. Starting with our site location. It's going to be in Eldridge on the south side of town, just a block or so away from last year's student built home. We do not yet know the exact lot location, but we'll know that soon. We'll know that by the time you get to school. So you will start out at the school, so you will not need to know where the lot is to begin with. We will get you more information as we know how we will be completing the online OSHA training. So I'm going to run down the list of the Student Built Home Orientation document that is also being shared with you. You all know me, James Simmons. My number's here for students and for parents. If you need to contact me as a program director, feel free to get in touch with me. Your site instructor, Jason Cousineau, his phone number is listed there as well, and you can always call the school office if you have other questions. The second item on the Student Built Home Orientation is a link that you can click, which will take you to the syllabus. I'm not going to cover all of that at length here. You can read through that. But I want to make you aware that it's there. You can read through so you can understand what the Eastern Iowa Community College expectations are, because this is a dual credit class. So we're going to talk a little bit about our expectations. We expect you guys on this site to treat this as though it were a job. We're building last year's home, is in the process of selling now, and it's going to close for, I believe, $330,000. You guys are going to be responsible for building a house like that in its entirety. And we expect you to treat this as a real job, because without you, the workers building this house, there's no way to get it done. So let's talk about our times. You will be at the student built home all day, either A day or B day. You'll have a morning shift, 7:45 to 11:15. Then you'll have a lunch break from 11:15 to 12. You can eat wherever you like. Then your afternoon shift will go from 12 to 3:30. I know some of you are thinking, what about my extracurricular activities? We will talk about that here in a moment. Students will be expected to be on time and present at every class, like I said, like an employee. 9 total absences in a semester will result in a failing grade, according to Eastern Iowa Community College policy. So if you're late, you have to make up that missed class time. You can do that during a lunch break or during another arranged time. If you're there on an A day and you have open time on a B day, you want to come out to the house and put some time in, you can do that. Make those times up so that you don't reach that 9 absence point and end up missing out on all those high school and college credits. And remember that if you're late 3 times, that is considered an absence per school policy. You'll be graded using an employability rubric, much like what you were familiar with during your 9th, 10th, 11th grade years at the high school, as well as some Canvas assessments to assess your knowledge of key terminologies and principles. For after-school activities that require you to leave early, we're going to handle those on a case-by-case basis. So if you normally, if you have a class that runs up to 3:30, you're not going to leave that class early to go to do a team lift. You're not going to leave that class early to go to football practice early or golf practice early or whatever the practice may be. But what we want to do is we want to accommodate you guys so that if you do have a practice you need to get to and the time is tight, we want to be able to get you out of there a little bit early just to make that transition smooth. So when I say that we're going to handle this on a case-by-case basis, what we're going to be looking at is If you, throughout the course of the day, you're working hard, you're staying on task, you're being self-motivated, you're being a good team player, a good communicator, you're demonstrating all of the right employability skills. We're talking about your effort that's being put in here. I'm not talking about did you understand, because if there are issues of understanding, we can address those and work on those later. What I'm talking about now is your effort. Did you give it your all for that day? If you did, and you go to your instructor at the end of the day and you say, Mr. Cousineau, I'd like to leave early so I can get to football practice. Then he has the ability to say, yeah, I'm going to let you step out of here 10, 15 minutes early so you can get to practice. However, if you show up and you're late or you're goofing around, you're leading other students in the wrong way, getting them off task, you're being given jobs, you're not completing them in their entirety, or horseplaying. At the end of the day, you may come to the instructor and say, Mr. Cousineau, I'd like to leave early to get to football practice. And he may say, no, you're going to stay till 3:30, and you're going to have to go tell coach why it is that you're late. And explain to him that I'm late today because I spent so much time goofing around in class. So this is a case-by-case basis. So we don't want you to think that, hey, I'm out of there every day 15 minutes early no matter what. This is really going to depend on you guys, because this is a dual credit class that lasts until 3:30 every day. So if you got questions about that, feel free to give me a shout. Early bird lifting or afternoon team lifting will not be an option on the days that you are at the house. So if you're scheduled for early bird on a day that you're at the house, you will not be able to go to early bird and then come to class late. You will have to find another time to lift. Same thing for team lifts. I know oftentimes teams will lift during 6 o'clock. You will not be leaving the house at whatever time that would be, 2:40 to go lift. So that'll be your responsibility to find another opportunity to make that lift. Lunches, you're free to eat anywhere you like. You can bring a lunch. If you want to get a lunch from the cafeteria, normally I would say they have box lunches available. I think this year with COVID, everything is going to be prepackaged anyways. You can just step into the lunchroom, grab a lunch, and hit the road to head to the house. So that's up to you. Travel logistics. This is the student and parents' responsibility. If you do not feel you are going to be able to make it to the house every day, then you need to start working on a plan for that now, because I couldn't get a ride to class is not going to be an acceptable excuse. We have, in the past, we've had several students say, hey, I'm sorry I was 20 minutes late. I had to pick up Joe and Bill and Sue. And if you're the one driving and you're allowing other people to ride with you, then and they make you late, then you're going to be late. So ultimately, the responsibility for getting there each day and getting there on time, that's up to you, the students and the parents. The parents will need to have completed the online transportation form during your enrollment, which I'm sure most of you have. If you haven't, that will need to be done. We're going to be in a very congested residential area. There's going to be young families, kids playing in the streets, and other construction vehicles all over the neighborhood, as there's a lot of building going on in that area. I can't stress this enough. Park and drive appropriately. When you are traveling from the school to the house and from the house to the school, treat it as though you're on school grounds, because that is the way that your instructor is going to be viewing it, the way that your building administration is going to be viewing it. And there have been times in the past where neighbors have said, I've got teenagers in here and they're driving 50 miles an hour down my street while my kids are playing in the driveway. And we've sent the cops out and we've ticketed them. We take this very seriously. We want the community to view the student-built home as a positive thing to be going on in their neighborhood, not as a dangerous thing. So please, we can't stress this enough. Park and drive responsibly. First week of school, you will get more information coming soon about the location for the OSHA training, but you are not going to start at the house, so you do not need to know the house location. You will go through online OSHA training, which will be paid for by the program, and you'll receive an OSHA 10 card. the same OSHA 10 card you would use if you were to apply for a job, say, at any local company. You'll go through the policies and procedures agreement, and you'll go through an orientation with your instructor where he will hand out your tools, and you'll make sure that all your tools are labeled with the correct number. Well, let me move on here. Dress code. This is very important. You have to wear long pants. It's going to be hot at times, but you need to wear long pants that cover all of your legs. Safety glasses. This is going to be a little different than the past. You're going to be responsible for providing your own safety glasses. If you show up and you do not have safety glasses, you will be counted truant. So here's what I would recommend to all of you students and parents. If you go down to Menards, it's going to cost you $3, $4, maybe $5 for a pair of safety glasses. Get on Amazon.com, order a set of 10, and they'll probably be $2 a piece. Throw that whole box in the trunk of your car, and you know that you will have everything that you need in case you lose or break a pair. Make sure that you keep those on you. You need to have a set of work boots. We can't be wearing athletic shoes or sandals of any kind. You need to have a pair of work boots. So long pants, safety glasses, and work boots. You'll be required to have those. And again, I would just get a box of safety glasses, keep them in the trunk of your car. That way you know you're never going to run into a situation where you get there and you realize, oh no, I left them on the back of my head. I walked inside, threw them on my dresser, and now I don't have them. So keep that in mind. Call me if you have any questions or email me. Cell phone policy. Phone stay in your vehicle at all times. If you have your phone during class, it'll be taken from you. No phones on the job site. It is a safety issue when you're at the home. Tools. Tool belts and hand tools will be provided at no cost to you. We will no longer be able to, because of some funding changes, we're no longer able to gift those tools to the students. And so students, you'll be responsible for these tools. There'll be a tool check off that you can say, yes, I've received all these tools. And then at the end of the year, you'll be responsible for turning those tools back in. If you lose tools, you are responsible for replacing them. So I want to stress this. In the past, we've had some students mess with other students' friends. Somebody takes a hammer and buries it in the yard. If something like that happens to you, you need to let us know so we can deal with that student and have them replace that hammer for you. Because at the end of the year, if you come to us and say, I lost my tools, but it was my friend messing with me, he hit them and I don't know where they went, you're still going to be responsible for paying for those. So keep track of them. If there's an issue, talk to us, talk to Mr. Schwartz, and we'll get it dealt with so that we can make sure that things are returned to you. We're going to trust that kind of thing is just not going to happen this year. If you show up without all of your tools, you will be considered truant. So if at the end of the day, you realize, I don't have my square, I don't know where my square is, you need to look for your square, find your square. If you can't find it, you need to go buy another one so that when you come into school the next day, you will have everything that you need. And the best way to avoid losing those tools is just keep that tool belt on you, keep your tools in it, keep them well marked. Let's see here. Snow days and vacation days. For inclement weather cancellations apply to the student home schedule, just like the rest of the district. If the district has a 2-hour late start, so will you. Vacation days will follow the North Scott calendar. So if we're off for Thanksgiving, Christmas, that'll follow the calendar. Scheduled late starts and early outs. On these days, the student bill home will be in session all day. So if we have an early out for grading on the last day of a semester, you students will still be at the house for that entire day. Those days will not be shortened. If we have a scheduled late start, for some reason, you guys will still be at the house all day. It's inclement weather and vacation days that we're going to follow the calendar. And then you're going to find that we may, on a case-by-case basis, because there will be many, many rain days, snow days, other days where you're waiting on materials that you just may not be able to work. There may occasionally be a day that we have off, an in-service day. Say it's not a vacation day, it's just an in-service day where we may have you come in to work that day so we can make up some of that time. That'll all depend on the scheduling. We have to kind of deal with some of the challenges of scheduling on a construction job site. School policies and guidelines will be observed when you're at the student-built home or on your way to the student-built home. You should consider yourself on school grounds and behave accordingly. So I believe that covers everything. We had a couple of things in here. It says we don't know if students will be able to keep the tools or not. You will not be able to keep the tools. So I just didn't get that edited before I made this recording. So this, once you've completed this video, I'm going to ask you to check the box and enter your name so that I know students and parents both were able to watch this and are aware of all the expectations. And you'll have links to the syllabus and to this orientation document as well. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email, and I'll answer questions as quickly as I can. It's going to be a very different year for us this year, but we're going to make the most of it. We're going to build a house. We're going to get you guys the best experience that we can. So again, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we will see you in a few weeks.